Short video is going to show you just a brief walkthrough of how to get your session started and run a session for NWA. So we'll start here with the login screen. After you're logged in, you're going to look to the left here. I have a few more options than you do, but look for Manage Test Sessions. Once you click that, you'll get another screen where you can find students to test. I've already created the sessions for you. This time, I think that might be a little different for those of you that have been here before. I'll talk a little bit about why that is in a second. So look down here where it says Saved Test Sessions, and if you click that, the drop down will expand, and yours probably will be blank since you likely haven't created any yet for this term. So to find the sessions that I've created, you're going to go under where it says Created By, and instead of your name, type Garner so you can see the ones that I've created. Click by name. My name shows up 3 times. I'm not sure why. Just click the top one. And then you'll see a list of all the various sessions. They're just in the order in which I created them, so it's not necessarily alphabetical. You could sort it by that if you wanted to, if you just clicked the arrow under session name, or you could even search your session name. So if I was looking for Sheely and I type under session name, then it pops right up. If you don't want to do that, you can just kind of arrow through at the bottom. There's different pages. All right, so if you're just going to check your session to make sure that all the right people are there, what you'll do is click the little button next to your name, and instead of hitting test now, hit edit session. And if you scroll down, you're going to see a list of all the students in your homeroom. You may see extra students, which is okay. It doesn't matter if there are extra students in a test session. It doesn't do anything. Even if a student is testing someplace else and they're listed in your session, it is fine. What we're looking for are missing students. So if you have any students missing, just let me know and I can add them to your session for you. If everything looks good, then you're going to hit Save Session here at the bottom. It's going to ask you what you want to call it. Just leave the name the same and hit Save and Exit. Should take you back to the Manage Test Sessions screen. All right, so let's move ahead and we'll say that you're going to, you're getting ready to actually test. So same thing, Manage Test Sessions, go down to Saved Test Sessions, find your homeroom. This time you will hit Test Now. And if you've given NWA before, this screen will look familiar to you. This is the one that's going to give you your session name along with the password that you'll want to display for your students or write on the board. Once they open NWA on their screens, this is what they need to be able to access the session. So once they start logging in, these numbers here right under the session name and password where it says action needed to be confirmed, currently it says 0. As they start doing that, those numbers will change. And then you will confirm them, meaning they can begin the test with this button. You also have the option to refresh the page sooner than every 60 seconds, which is what it does automatically. What I typically do is allow the majority of students to get into the be confirmed status before I confirm them. That way I'm not just having to hit the button 100 times. Then, if I have a couple of students who are having trouble, go ahead and confirm everyone else so they can get started, and then you can help those that might need help logging in or something, and then you can always come back and confirm them individually. So it's confirm can happen as many times as you need. All right, let's look down here, and so you can see what the testing screen looks like when it's going. So you'll see the student's name. Status here in this column tells you what step in the process students are. And in this case, you'll notice since I'm not actually testing and there's no students here, that all says awaiting student. It means that we are waiting for them to log in. Then there's the question number column, so you can monitor their progress while they're going. The test assignment, which I've already assigned the reading test for, which is our first session. And then we have the accommodations column, which in this currently it says no. and I'll explain accommodations here in a second. And then this rapid guesses. This is just something to let you know if it's the system's detecting a student that's just kind of like rushing through the questions. So as far as accommodations go, one of the reasons I created the sessions for you is so you don't have to assign accommodations. Either a resource teacher, ESL teacher, or myself will do that. They'll access your test session and assign accommodations for you. You can see who those people might be here by it'll say yes next to their name. Okay, so once you have everyone testing, the awaiting student status will it'll say testing, and then there should be a question number here. When students start to log in, if you haven't confirmed them yet, it'll say to be confirmed, and then once you've confirmed them, it changes to testing. Anytime you need to do something to a particular student's test, you just click the box next to their name, and then all of these buttons across the top then become active. So there are some things that pop up that you may need to do that with if there's a problem during the test, and I'll talk a little bit about tips, common errors, and things that pop up in just a minute. All right, so let's say that we're ready to end the session at this point. Uh, if you're lucky, everyone's done, and you can just hit end session here, the blue button in the top right. However, it's not uncommon that you'll have a few students that are not done. So what you need to do is give your kids a warning. I'd say about 10 minutes or so before you're going to end the session. Uh, and if they're still not done, then let them know that they need to go ahead and finish the question they're on. And then once they've done that, you're going to select all the names of the students that are still testing. And so I'll just kind of pretend that there's a couple here. So I'm going to click about 3 students there. Let's say those students didn't finish. Then up at the top, there's a drop down that says select action. If I click that, I get some options here. So if we're going to stop these students' tests so they can finish later, we actually want to click suspend. Do not click pause. That's for like a short thing, like a restroom break. So suspend is we're actually going to kind of put their test on hold until they can finish it. I'm not going to actually do that right now, but since they're not testing, the system won't actually allow me to do it. So you click suspend, and then you'll see the status for those students will say suspended. Once everyone who's finished, uh, once that's done, and then everyone is finished, you can now end the session. And then when you hit end session, you get this screen again, and then it's asking you if you want to save it under a different name or delete. Please keep the session. That way it's ready to go for the next test session. If you happen to delete it by accident, just shoot me an email and I'll try to get it set up again for you. So click save and exit, and then it takes you back to your screen here. And then you're all set. All right, I'm going to start that session again. So if you need some common tips for things that happen during a test, then hang on here. Otherwise, if you feel ready, you can go ahead and stop the recording. So if you're testing and a couple things can happen here. The most common one is students' screens freeze, won't advance to the next question. There are a couple of things on my slide presentation that I shared that you can try. But if you try those couple things and it doesn't work, I find that the number one thing that resolves all problems is to just suspend the student's test. So you do it the same way. You click the student's name, click suspend, and put them in that suspended status. And so let's say I suspended Bradshaw here, Owen Bradshaw, then it'll say suspended. Go ahead when that happens and have the student, once it's suspended, have him exit out of NWEA on his Chromebook, and then have them wait until you're ready for them to log in again. So before that student comes back in, you'll want to select their name again. This time it says suspended. So I click his name, and now I'm going to hit actions. And for this student to come in again, I'm going to hit test again. And then that should change that student from suspended to awaiting student again. Once you've done that, go ahead and tell the student to log back in. and then it would be the same process of confirming them to get going. There, you may get lucky with some of those tips that are on that slide presentation, but I find that suspending and testing again resolves whatever issue you're having 99% of the time. So that's kind of like my go-to if I ever have a problem. All right. If That's about all I have right now. If you are someone that assigns accommodations, you can watch just a little bit further, and I'm going to show you a little bit about how that works. Thanks. All right. If you are someone that assigns testing accommodations for students that may be uh, in a another classroom, I'm going to show you how you do that since I think that's new for some of you. So you're doing it the same way as everyone else does to find a test session, except you're looking for homerooms that have your students that need accommodations. So once you get to manage test sessions, go to save test sessions again, and you will plug my name in and to pull up all the different homerooms. Let's say you have some students in Reed's homeroom that need accommodations. So you're going to click the button next to Reed, and then you're going to hit Edit Test Session. All right, scroll down, and there's all your kids, or all the kids, and you're going to find yours. So let's just say the first two here need accommodations. So I'm going to check the boxes next to their name, and you'll see the buttons at the top become active. Assign accommodations. All right. So the only ones that we really need to worry about are the embedded ones. All the other accommodations we tend to provide to the students. So for this case, I'm going to use text to speech. That's the most common one that we're assigning. So for this one, this is likely only going to be used for math, but you're going to check everything you need for to uh, to assign the text to speech accommodation. So typically, we're assigning most of this uh, for math. So you would check all those boxes. There really shouldn't be anyone that's getting accommodations for the reading passages. But if you think you have someone that would be in that category, touch base with me so we can talk about that. And then there's some other accommodations that might be for uh, ESL students, like the bilingual dictionary. And those students also have an option to, you can assign a Spanish test. So anyway, once you've selected your accommodations for that particular student, so I'm just going to do this for testing purposes right now, hit assign, and then you will see that on the column to the right where it says accommodations, those students now say yes next to it. So I'm going to go ahead and remove those. Oops. It looks like when you remove them, you need to do it one at a time. All right. Once you're finished, then you're going to hit save session. Keep it the same name so the homeroom teacher can find it. And you would want to do that for all the homerooms that contain your students. If you're going to create your own test session for a small group, this is how you would also do it. You'd go to manage test sessions, and then you'd hit find students to test. And then you would select our school, assuming you have that option. I'm not sure if you do or only I do. And then after that, you can really just go by last or first name and look them up. And then every time you find them, you would just add them to your list at the bottom. And then if you need to assign accommodations, you would do it the same way. And then when you're ready, hit save session and then go ahead and name it whatever you want to so you can find it later. All right, that should be everything you need to know to get your test sessions going and assign accommodations. If you have questions, let me know. And again, on Monday, we're going to be having a little help session after school if you'd like.